Ah yes, the potential deus ex machina of all TTRPGs, the Wish. Could be a card, could be a spell, could be a scroll, could be a genie giving you 3. Oh, players and DMs, let us know, what's the best use of Wish you've ever seen? Leave yours in the comments below. Us D&D players can never really get enough. Whether you play 3 times a week or once a month, part of you always craves more. We get our fix however we can, by watching short stories online, D&D live streams, Baldur's Gate. Well, allow me to offer you something new. The best available follows a party of new adventurers trying to make a name for themselves in hopes of being sponsored in a competition. Waterdeep's Festival of Heroes, which sees the chosen parties delving into the depths of Undermountain, risking life and limb to suppress the evils and monsters below to protect the city above. The Dungeon of the Mad Mage is filled with danger, treasure, glory, and mysteries yet to be revealed. Come watch the journey from humble beginnings into heroic legend as we adapt a campaign years in the making into an illustrated web series with art from Doodle Poodle, author of Tales from the Tables. We pride ourselves in converting hours-long sessions into smoothly paced episode with limited animation, music, blood, sweat, and tears. Get in on the ground floor of something great and join the Forever DM's table today. Link in the description. I was running a Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League game, and there was a section featuring an obviously cursed obelisk in front of a temple dedicated to a forgotten destroyer god. Our barbarian touched the obelisk and summoned a Tarrasque. We were all expecting a TPK and began handing over our character sheets when the wizard suddenly stood up and screamed, "I cast Wish!" The DM responded, alright, what's the wish? The wizard paused for a moment, then simply said, I wish this Tarrasque was someone else's problem! The DM got up, consulted with a ref, then picked up the Tarrasque figurine, placed it on the table of the group next to us, and said, "Your problem now! Holy hell, that is awesome, dude!" In Curse of Strahd, I pulled the wish card from the deck of many things. Now, my DM actually allowed me to tweak the ruling a bit, so I wished for my party members and I to have the knowledge and equipment to defeat Strahd. As a result, everyone received 1 item that dealt radiant damage and another feature like +2 dexterity, etc. We also received a map, similar to the Marauders map, that showed the location of almost everything in the castle. This is a bit of a story. My campaign has been going on for about 1.5 years now. The players have been joking about the deck of many things for a while, so I wanted to add a bit of uncertainty. The party encountered one of the many traitor NPCs, identical eldritch shopkeepers. This particular traitor had a deck of many things, and they bought it. The warlock held on to it. Fast forward a few sessions, and the party began to grow suspicious of a druid NPC who had decided to tag along with them on their journey to the capital of the nation that they were in. Well, they confronted him, which triggered a combat encounter that was designed to result in a TPK so I could initiate a resurrection arc. However, mid-combat, my warlock pulled out the deck of cards and made a wish, which went as follows. I wish for the being and concept of Ratharos, also known as Kalag, the wraith god of silence, to be destroyed. The wish was flawlessly worded, and since it came from the elder god of fortune, it was within the boundaries. However, there was a catch. She had to pick 1 other player character to sacrifice. The paladin offered himself, but ultimately she chose to delete herself to kill the wraith god, saving the rest of the party in the process. My players have just reached level 20. It was a wizard, a fighter, a cleric, and a rogue. In this game, the wish spell was removed from the spell lists, meaning the only way to get it was through powerful beings or magic items. Well, they had an amulet with a single charge that could be used to cast the wish spell. It was forged from the divine essence of a long-dead god. Through the use of legend lore, they found out that it was a god of second chances, who was eventually killed by other gods for being too kind on mortals. He was frequently stealing worshippers from other deities because he was so often intervening in the failures of mortals. Well, the big bad evil guy had been defeated, a necromancer who lost his daughter. Her soul was destroyed, and he was ripping the weave of magic apart to try and revive her. And the party went their own ways for a year with a promise to return and meet back up. When they did, they all came together and held the amulet together to make a single group wish. We wish for Androsol, the big bad evil guy, to have a second chance. It was at this point that the amulet began to glow, and it flew out of the character's grasp and vanished in a burst of light. The ghostly image of the long-dead god appeared and smiled at the players. As the apparition slowly faded from view, a young child appeared as well. The daughter of Androsol was returned to life. The scene faded to black, and the campaign was over. A player was playing the most over-the-top, sweet little grandma. She would bake treats for the townsfolk wherever we went. She would knit scarves in her downtime, that kind of stuff, you know. The group found a scroll of wish, and Grandma kept it because she was the eldest and the wisest, possibly with dementia. Anyway, months later, we were finally meeting the big bad evil guy for the first time, and I've still got months of the game planned out for how they're actually going to stop this guy from taking over the world. Grandma, on the other hand, takes the scroll out of her purse along with a plate of still hot cookies and says, I'm gonna do it. You know, young man, I really wish you could just be happy baking cookies with me. All of a sudden, this 8,000-year-old undead lich demigod who was hell-bent on world domination is now hell-bent on baking cookies for everyone with Grandma. I almost ended the whole campaign right there, but I figured someone would step up in that power vacuum, so they still needed to stop the lich's plan from being enacted. However, now they have an incredibly powerful ally who knows the plan and bakes some really good cookies. After the game ended, we had a little epilogue where the lich granted Grandma immortality so they could both continue baking cookies and taking care of the world together forever. That is beautiful. So one of my friends got something absolutely broken that never should have been allowed, but it had hilarious consequences. It was an infinite bag of holding. It could hold anything in any amount, including living beings, as it had a habitable atmosphere. Last I heard, it was full of a ton of gravel, a ton of seawater, about 12 goblins, and the original boss of the Adventurers Guild we were all a part of. My friend, thankfully, was not one of those kinds of people to take advantage of things like this to an annoying degree, so it was mostly just funny. He was also playing a Kenku that liked collecting things. A friend of mine relayed this one. It was back in the 80s, and the party was adventuring in the Temple of Elemental Evil. Great module. One of the party members had looted a cursed gem that contained the soul of a demon. At first, everything seemed a-okay. The party continued their adventures unaware, and after some successes, they returned to the inn in Hamlet to celebrate, rest, and recover. It was there sometime after midnight, when most of the party was asleep and the rest were very drunk, that the demon chose to manifest and attack the unprepared party. The wish was simple.
I wish we were prepared for this. Suddenly!
No one was asleep, drunk, or surprised. Everyone had their armor on and all their weapons drawn. Everyone was at full hit points and had all their spells and powers available. It was still a tough fight. Major demons in first edition were no joke, but the party won. I've always remembered that tale, and I think it's a great way to use a wish. I wish I was safe at home. By a character who did not know he was wearing a ring of wishes with one wish. whose backstory involved a perilous journey that had left him on the shores of a distant land. He'd picked up the ring about 6 or 8 sessions prior and just put it on, knowing it was a magic ring, but never bothering to get it identified. I explained what happened to the player, and he looked at me and said, "My character's story is complete. Can I roll a new one?" He then introduced a new character in the next session. That's actually kind of wholesome. There was an ancient Netheressy magic barrier, completely impenetrable, and impossible to teleport through by any magical means. Inside was a trapped star spawn emissary, and a very unfortunate party member with no way out. They stood next to the barrier and wished for the entire thing to be teleported 5 feet to the left. After I stopped laughing, I agreed that, yes, technically there was nothing stopping the barrier from teleporting through him. Oh god, no! Oh no! Ooh, story time. I like stories. This was my very first 5th edition game I ever played. Not my first TTRPG, though. We were playing an Arabian Nights themed game. We're in the middle of the desert, and we find a well. Deep subject. The well spoke to us, and it said it would grant any number of wishes as long as the sacrifice or payment was equal to the wish. The example it gave us:
a man wanted to rule the land. He threw in his daughter whom he treasured, and he ruled as king.
Here's a little backstory about my character. He's the party cartographer. Their mission was to map out a new desert trade route. He values his eyes and his mind above all else. This was also before I realized intelligence was kind of useless unless you're a wizard. 5th edition had just been released. Akram was always the calm, quiet one, so this came as a shock to the party. My crazy character turned to his party and asked that they not stop him no matter what he did next. This was all his choice. He proceeded to pull out his dagger and cut out one of his own eyes. It was super painful, and he almost passed out. His face was permanently scarred from this. He threw his eye into the well and wished to see all truths. The DM, being creative, gave Akram a new eye. It was obviously super magical. Once a day, I could choose to see through all illusions or see through all lies. Essentially, I roleplayed my way into getting a custom artifact that will cause my character to eventually be hunted for it. The DM decided to make it a bit of a curse as well as a blessing. I gave my players a quest to reforge a shattered legendary sword. They had the options of finding a fire giant blacksmith talented enough to reforge it, or I told them a wish spell would work as well. Now, they knew a friendly-ish genie and got her to grant them a wish. One of them had been missing memories that they wanted fixed also, so the party had him hold the sword pieces and stand in the corner of the room. The wish was for everything and everyone in this corner of the room to be unfractured and whole again. I really didn't expect it, and thought it was a clever way to get a 2-for-1. Only affecting things in a small area of the room felt small enough to be attainable, so I let them have it without going crazy with the monkey's paw. Although it's too bad for me they took his backpack away from him first. It had various monster parts he was collecting. Last session of the campaign, the DM still tried to pull a gotcha moment by saying that the party bard, who was engaged to an elven queen, of course he would be, was trapped in hell because he failed too many saves. Again, not surprising. I handed the queen my unused luck blade and told her, "Good luck." The DM was pissed because he forgot he had given it to me. By the way, too many saves? I mean the DM had us progress through a series of hellish hallways, making a different save in each one. He would turn to whoever rolled high and say, "That's the number you have to make." It was a complete shit show. After 10 plus saves, I was mentally checked out. TLDR, the best use of wish is to force the DM to roleplay with himself. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and if you want to hear some outtakes or get early access to videos, go ahead and sign up for our membership. It does us a huge favor by helping us keep the lights on and you fed with plenty of videos. We love you all. Please be safe out there, have fun, and again, let us know what the best use of the witch spell you've ever seen was down in the comments below. See you later, everybody.